Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. So I just wanted to do a quick intro here before I get started in the video. So my name's Devin. I'm here in Miami, Florida. I'm an indices and commodities trader, and I'm gonna be doing some trade breakdowns for you today, but I also want to go over what the channel outlook's gonna be like. So I'm gonna add some vlogs in there, as well as daily trade setups or trade breakdowns, as well as other investing ideas such as cryptos, real estate, and so on and so forth. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video and stay tuned for more. Hey guys, so welcome to our first ever trade breakdown on XAU USD. So by the title of the video, you can see that we did take a massive win of $24,000 and some change. So on this breakdown, I'm going to go through my psychology behind it, my entries, as well as the TA. So I always start off on the daily because, you know, the longer the time period is, the better it is for your trade because you have more confirmations, as well as the candlesticks are more girthy in the sense of you have more data in them. So first thing I did was I created a trend line. So clearly on gold, we've been on an uptrend for the past couple days to weeks. So once I drew this up, I realized that, you know, it lined up right here, which, you know, this trade was planned out before I actually took it. I took the trade on the 22nd to the 23rd, which was today and yesterday. So I actually did the trade setup on the 21st, which was once it was descending down here. So I just drew from the last lowest low, and I kind of just drew it on like a 45-degree angle up. That way I could have an idea of where price would be going. So if you guys actually want to see this trade breakdown beforehand, before any of these candlesticks actually happen, on the 21st, I actually uploaded a time lapse to my Instagram on the whole breakdown that I actually did. It wasn't as in-depth as this, but it was just like, you know, a timestamp, a time lapse. So once I did that, I went on the 4-hour chart and I started drawing up support resistance areas. So what that is, it's basically like a floor and a ceiling that the market has created. So first things first, you start seeing that you have a lot of price volatility right here. So we actually started in this little range. So what I actually like to do is I like to draw two different ranges or two different price targets, so to speak. So what I do is I get the rectangle and I actually hollow it out. So on the 4-hour, I try to see if there's any other price area that it was at before. So I actually marked up this right here. This was a range that it was on, and it lined up with the pump that we had up here. Let's move this up here. So the reason I do this is because you kind of want to see where price wants to go, right? So this happened all the way August 20th. So, well, August 2020. So the reason I did this was because I needed to see where market was trying to go, or where the range was. Clearly we are in a big range right here, not really a range, but market did push up here in 2020. So market did revisit that back over here on the 8th of March. So that was great to know. So once the market started selling off here, I was like, okay, great. So now we know that market likes the structure up here, but it could not hold that area. So then what I had to do was, since market was selling off, I'm like, okay, well, what other area could the market go down to? So once I had created support down here, I was like, okay, great. So now we know, my bad. So yeah, now we know that the market will either bounce off of the support here and go back to this range, or it will come back down here and consolidate here rather than, you know, shoot back up. So once I saw that happen, I'm like, okay, well, what other areas do I have to watch out for? Where would TPs go? Where would stop losses go? So my first TP was actually up here, which it didn't get hit, but I actually got out of trade early just because I started seeing a little bit of resistance here, as well as a small little double top right here. This top didn't get all the way up here to the first top, but I was like, you know what? Let me try to get out of this trade and secure some profits while I can, even though price action does look like it will be pushing up to the area again. With that said, I actually have two different entries. I scaled into this position, even though I wanted to be really strong in this position. I wanted to go a little heavy on it. So what I actually did was I drew up a long position just so I can get a better visual of it. So my first entry was actually 1923. So we'll come back over here where 1923 was. It was about right here once it broke back down. Right? So like I said, my first TP was all the way up here, and I actually set my stop loss a little bit down here. Actually, no, it was right by this candle over here. So that was a 1 to 2.5, a 1 to 2.1 risk reward ratio. I was actually in this trade for about a day and a half, I actually did have a little bit of drawdown since I did get in right around here. So I did take this whole candle right here, and you know, gladly it went according to my TA, and it did bounce off and it kept going up. So, and then I had another second entry at 1932, right? So I already had enough profit created off my first entry to cover any drawdown that my second entry could possibly occur. So 1932 was right around this area right here. So this was actually today. I opened that position today so I can catch this long candle up here, so you can get up to the support area that it created up here. I mean resistance area. So the way I like to trade is off of resistance and support. So right here, you see that there's a lot of support right here. So we'll actually draw a mark right here, along with this price range. So in this price range, you have a lot of support, as well as I have this big trend line that I drew up on the daily that lined up perfectly with these trades. So with that said, once I saw that it got to this area over here, I was like, you know what, that's great confirmation. There's a lot of price rejection here because this is on the 4 hour. So moving down to the 1 hour, you will see the same exact thing. And I also have my 200 EMA and my 100 EMA. So once I saw that cross at 1932, well, it was actually at 1929. So that's why I ended up getting a 1932, because I wanted to make sure that it actually held up on top of those areas. So I got in and it was great. So the reason I did actually get out of this trade a little early, which I mean, I could still be holding it, I'd be great, but I actually didn't hold. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I wanted to secure some profit since I did go large. You know, that's how it amounted to $24,000. It was 10 lots on gold, and I'm on a 500 leverage account. So there's a lot of leverage using the account. That's why the market moves very volatile when it comes to dollar amount. So the whole goal of this trade, today's the 23rd. So this trade, the main idea is for this, if you wanted to hold it into even longer, would be for this. Here, let's get rid of this so I can show you guys. Let's get a little drawing tool. Oh, wait, where is it? Right here. Let's draw a little path. So right, came right down here. That made a higher low. It stopped making a higher high, so it broke the uptrend that it had right here. But then it created another one right here. So let's actually hold up. Let's draw that differently, right? So right here, it created a new uptrend. Higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. So now we actually want to see this create another higher low. So I would assume, not assume, but I would actually, the way I would trade this would be for it to come back down here, which would be a higher low, and then I would want to see it break past this area, which would be the 1954 area, and then I would want to see this start edging back up over here. But of course, you know, it will test another area, probably down here where the resistance was created. Then it'll come back over here over time, hopefully. And if it doesn't, then oh well, that's fine, because this will be a long swing trade. I'm actually looking right now to get back into this position if in the next, let's say the next 10 candlesticks on the 1 hour end up rejecting this resistance area up here. So basically, market will like consolidate a little bit here, and it'll come back down. I want to see it come back down into this range, so I can get in another entry around 1924 or 1920. That'd be ideal. That way, I could ride a whole position all the way up, and I would actually have a support area down here. I would probably put the support area right around here, and I will go light on this position since it's going to be more of a swing trade, and I want to see it back edged up to 2000 range, which this would be a crazy trade. It would be a 1 to 6. This is a multi-day trade. You guys could actually try to look for this trade now. So the whole reason I'm making this trade breakdown is because I want you guys to see the TA behind the trade. Like, a lot of people see crazy profits, and a lot of people don't understand what goes into this, right? So this trade was set up way before. Hey guys, my bad, I got interrupted a couple seconds ago, so there's gonna be like a little mashup into the video. So basically what I was trying to say was I want to give you guys an in-depth view on what the thinking is like behind a trade, what goes into a trade setup, and you know, the anticipation, right? Because you have to be patient with these trades, especially whenever you're going to go long on a position or short on a position, and it's going to be a intraday to a swing trade. You know, you have to have a thought process behind all this. You cannot be just throwing trades out for no reason, because at the end of the day, if your risk reward ratio is not on par, as well as your technical analysis and fundamental analysis, your trades are just not going to work out, right? It's not sustainable to start throwing trades for no reason without having a good reason. That's why I always preach to have a checklist and so on and so forth with reasons to trade. So like I said, this is actually a really good setup that you guys could actually look to take right now. So essentially at first, you'd want to go for a short position here if it does reject this area. So your short position would actually start down here because this is the 1 hour. So what I would do is I want to see this, I want to see the rejection up here, and I want to see it come back down into 1943. Right, so I would enter that down here below this candle once it gets rejected up here, and I would create my stop loss up here at 1950, and I would actually take this little cell and ride it all the way up to 1925, which would be a great 1 to 2.4 risk reward ratio on it. And then the big picture trade is going to be like I was explaining on part 1, or just a couple minutes ago for you guys, is the long position that I'm actually going to take on this, which would hopefully be around here. If it does play out, if it doesn't play out, then it is what it is. We can't control the market, and we can't always accordingly predict what the market's going to do, so we'll play it by ear. So the real position that I actually want to trade on this would actually be this well, not so much. Actually, the entry should be below this, so I would actually take an entry at like 1920, and this would be a crazy long position all the way back up to this area right here, because there is some resistance area up here that you want to pay attention to. Let's make that red so you guys can actually notice it. Right, so this would be a 1 to 7 trade, which would be absolutely crazy in the sense of you can go really small and average into this position, and you should be able to edge out the market in the sense of have a lot of profit. So that will conclude today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'm going to continue doing more content like this. I want to do at least one trade breakdown of the week. Like I said, this big trade, this big trade doesn't always happen every single day. This big trade actually edged us up for the month because we were, well, me personally, I was actually down for the month. I did take some big losses in the last week or two, but that's perfectly fine because that's what trading is, right? You get your risk reward ratio down packed, you get your psychology down packed, you make sure that your technicals and fundamentals align, and you have your checklist. So if you guys have any questions or have any information that you guys want, I'll have the links in the comment below, and comment away whatever you guys have questions on to let me know. Hope you guys enjoyed the video.